Welcome back, everybody. IGN Live, San Diego Comic-Con. I'm Damon. Greg here is on his Samsung Galaxy S4.
Damon, I'm tweeting out right now questions. Hey, we're going to have this person on the show, so follow me at Game Over Greggy. Tweet me your questions if you get on the show. Guests like Bill. Hey, you're Bill. Hey,
Bill.
How you doing?
From Nintendo.
From Nintendo.
Here to show us Pikmin 3.
Ooh, the Pikmin 3. I've heard a lot about this game.
Pikmin 3, I have to confess, I am a huge Pikmin fan. And actually, since E3, I don't tell anybody. I really haven't been doing much work. All is playing Bingo Battle and Pikmin 3 because I can't stop playing it.
What is Bingo Battle?
Yes. So Bingo Battle is it's a two-player battle mode. Actually, we've got it up right
here. It is.
Here.
This is it.
And essentially, what you have are two players, each with their own team of Pikmin. You start off with a really small group, 5 apiece, and your goal is to collect as many items as you can. The way that you win is you see you've got sort of a bingo card down below. You've got to get 4 things in a row, and that can be up, down, across, or diagonally. And so you're essentially in a race to try to be the first to get 4 in a row. But beyond that, there's just a wide variety of strategy that you can employ when you start doing this. You see player 1 on the left side here has sort of ventured off to try to get an item that's actually closer to the other player's base. And that's resulted in a Pikmin on Pikmin battle, and those are
Pikmin on Pikmin crime.
Yeah, they're definitely it's a sad day when you see Pikmin fighting one another.
Sure. It's been a while since Pikmin 2.
That's right.
What has changed, and what will be familiar to people who played the first 2 games?
Well, so what's interesting about the Pikmin game is, from a core concept, it's pretty easy to play. Essentially, all you do is you call your Pikmin and you throw your Pikmin. And the Pikmin do all the work themselves. And so where the challenge comes in is sort of knowing the abilities of each of the different types of Pikmin, assigning them to specific things based on what their abilities are, and then being able to manage multiple groups at once. So Pikmin 3 introduces essentially the idea of 3 different explorers. So you can have 3 teams of Pikmin operating simultaneously in the story modes and the mission modes. And what that does is essentially introduces this amazing concept of replayability, where the first time you go into an area, you're just learning it, trying to figure out, okay, what all is here, how do I explore this area, and very quickly you start to get an idea of how much better or more efficiently or how much quicker you could be running through that area, picking things up, fighting different enemies. The core concept, of course, is you've got your team of Pikmin, and you've got to, as you see here on the left-hand side, fight these enemies. One of them is just munched on some Pikmin, which you never want to have happen. And then you carry the corpses of the enemies you've destroyed back to your base to grow more Pikmin and earn points. It's sort of the natural.
It's sort of creepy.
It is the cycle of nature in a video
Circle
game.
of life.
The cycle of life, yes.
Which player is winning here?
So what it looks to me like is they're essentially, looking at this, you would think that they're pretty even, because one player's got 4 items, the other one's got 3. Now on the left-hand side, he's got 2 in a row, so that gives him a slight advantage. And now it looks like there is a struggle for that red marble. The blue player is trying to grab that and get that back to his base, so that he can essentially get 3 in a row, and then all he's got to do is get the mangosteen to win. But there are different items in here, and particularly if you notice any cherries laying on the ground, those you want to pick up right away, because they look like cherries, but they're actually called Cupid's Grenade. And of course,
Cupid's Grenade?
Cupid's Grenade. You bring those back and they give you different items.
That's a cooler name than cherry. I'm going to call cherries Cupid's Grenade.
So here what you see is player 1, the blue player, they're 1 away. They need to find that sort of little eggplant-looking mangosteen thing. There's a cherry there on the left of player 1, so maybe he'll go grab that.
Don't help him out. Don't tell him.
I know.
Don't give him any
but player 2 he's kind of going about this all wrong. He needs to go and get that. He needs to go get that mangosteen really quickly. Meanwhile, he's got his Pikmin getting attacked by these little shear grubs that'll scissor them and kill the Pikmin, which you don't want to have happen. Now here's the advantage, is player 1 has focused more on really growing his Pikmin horde, so he's then able to overwhelm with numbers. Anytime you've got more numbers, you're going to be able to overwhelm the other player and try to steal that stuff and bring it back.
Are there other mini games in Pikmin 3 like this, or is this like the main multiplayer?
So there's 3 main modes. There's a story mode, and the way that the story mode works is as you play through the game, you're collecting fruit. The storyline is that the explorers come from a planet where all of their food's been sort of, extinguished.
We got a winner.
Oh, we got a winner. Yeah.
You see by I was gonna say about the one dude with his hands down. You can tell who's defeated. It's over.
So actually, touching really quickly. We've got 12 different stages in Bingo Battle. Each one of those stages has 3 different variations, and the strategies that you'll use in each one will be pretty different.
All right. So now I called out for Twitter questions there at Game Over Greg. Tweet at IGN #SDCC. Eric Bailey tweets in and he says, "This isn't even a question so much a suggestion for you to make money.
Okay.
Will they ever put little Pikmin breath fresheners in a classy collectible tin and call them Pikmins?"
Ooh, that's
Do you like money? Because he's giving you $1 million ideas here.
I like Pikmins. And that's actually, it fits in really well with the game because oftentimes the Pikmin are getting eaten by the creatures in the game.
So it might be weird for us to eat the Pikmin, though.
You really? It's about time they got their comeuppance. And aren't we really the most inhumane? We are the Pikmin's worst enemy.
In the first Pikmin, our hero, it's Olimar.
Captain Olimar, that's correct.
He crashes on a planet, and he's using the Pikmin to help him scrounge up parts to rebuild a ship, right?
That's right.
What's happening here in Pikmin 3?
So in Pikmin 3, the explorers have come from this planet where the planet has extinguished all of its food resources. Okay. And so they come and they happen to land on the planet of the Pikmin, and they are essentially collecting fruit. They're saving the seeds to bring back to their home planet to repopulate their planet with food. And meanwhile, they're creating juice out of the fruit, and that allows them to survive on the planet. So essentially, regardless of how good you are at the game, you can sort of muddle your way through and collect enough fruit and enough juice to give you enough time to play for up to 100 days. And eventually, if you take your time, you can probably work your way through the story mode. But obviously, if you're a better player, you're going to be completing it probably more quickly than that. You will encounter these explorer notes left on the planet. It's not really clear initially who has left those behind.
It's a mystery, Greg.
But I will say that Captain Olimar's name does pop up. So if you played the previous Pikmin games, you may find a nice tie-in with yes.
Oh dear! Dear Lord!
Rocks just fell from the sky. So that was a very cruel move by Player One. What those Cupid's grenades do is, as you can see that little roulette wheel spinning, they give you access to items or bonuses. In this case, Player One just got 10 additional Pikmin, but what we saw a moment ago is he just dropped rocks and destroyed most of Player Two's Pikmin horde.
We have a real Twitter question for you.
Okay.
This one comes from a little boy in San Francisco named Rich IGN. He says, how many levels/stages are in Bingo Battle? How many missions are in the mission mode?
Oh, so
this boy has some pointed questions.
He does.
The future in this industry.
He does. I like little kids, especially little kids named Rich.
Yeah. Muss up the hat.
You want to kind of muss up the hat and everything. I'd like to answer all of his questions, but so Bingo Battle we have 12 stages, each one with 3 variations. So essentially, there's kind of 36 variations on stages for Bingo Battle. Mission mode, we haven't actually revealed the full count of missions.
Sorry, little Richie. You'll have to keep on watching.
You'll have to keep on watching, or maybe you should check out the game, Rich.
Yeah.
I hope you're a fan.
Why do you think Pikmin has found itself and been become so endearing to so many people?
It's a really good question.
Thank you.
Personally, I think partly it has to do with the Pikmin characters themselves. I mean, they're
adorable.
They're adorable little characters, and they stir up these sort of strange emotions in you while you're playing, right? Because you've got, they never talk, they never speak to you. They do everything that you ask them to do, and oftentimes you are asking them to sacrifice their lives for you. It poses, I think, deep moral questions.
It does.
Sounds like Damon and I's
relationship. Yeah, I know.
I do anything for him. I don't ask questions.
It's also a Miyamoto game, and he has that ability to tap into the feeling of being a kid and going out there in your backyard and just exploring and picking up things from the ground and
burying dead bodies and having them rise into new life.
One of the things that he is so passionate about this game, I think partially because the power of Wii U has essentially made the game it's made it possible for him to create the version of Pikmin that I think he always envisioned. And they've done so much more with it from both a gameplay standpoint and a visual standpoint in particular. One of the things that we've been seeing, the game's just released in Japan, and it has a mode in it where you can use the Wii U gamepad to take photos of the environment, of the enemies and Pikmin and whatnot, and you can post those to Miiverse.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the gamers in Japan are posting just these exquisitely beautiful portraits of the landscape and some really funny pictures of the Pikmin as well. It's really interesting the way that you can kind of immerse yourself in this game, and depending on what your interests are, find different ways to play. Of course, one of the key things I think as well is just the level or the depth of knowledge that you need, that you develop over the course of playing the game in terms of understanding the advantages of the different Pikmin. Sure. Obviously, the blue ones are the only ones that can go in water, but there are some subtle differences too. You know, the yellow ones are impervious to electricity, but they also are the Pikmin that dig the fastest. So, particularly as you're trying to figure out, how to beat somebody at bingo battle or how to, complete a mission mode. It's mastering sort of these intricacies and understanding each of the different abilities of Pikmin that comes into play.
Player 2 is not good at bingo battle. He
You know,
probably should just stick to his day job, whatever that is.
What's the release date for Pikmin 3?
Pikmin 3 is coming out August 4th, but if you happen to head to a local GameStop this weekend, we're going to be having sampling events going on at over, I think, 200 GameStop stores across the U.S. So if you haven't played Pikmin 3 yet, you can head out, try it out at GameStop. And I think if you pre-purchase a digital copy, that'll give you access to it one day early.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3 looks great. I'm really excited for it. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after these messages.